Good morning, guys. Coming to you today from my backyard. It's kind of hard to find a place to film because the light's so bright. There's a lot of shade. So bear with me today. No tea out here because I don't even have a table to use right now. I'll figure something out another day, but I had to get outside for a little bit. So for my 10th grade core kids, just know that I'll continue to put some resources online. Please check those. I put a lot of work into trying to find things that are interesting, keep you motivated. Also, please check your emails. Sometimes I'll send things out through that to give you some reminders. Um, Remember, I sent out an earlier email about accepting late work, so make sure you've looked at that Skyward message and that email. Be very helpful so I don't get lots of emails about the same thing over and over and over again, which is why I send those out. AP kids, there's an update from AP Central that's gone out. Pretty much the big takeaways I have at this point is one, they're going to administer the test online, which they've done this selectively in the past, but not on this large scale. The date for the exam is up in the air. They're going to know more by the beginning of April. So we're kind of in a holding pattern. One question I got was, hey, Mrs. Thomas, after the exam, are we still going to do stuff that's required for English? Well, it's kind of early for me to say because one, I don't know for sure when we're going to be back. Right now, our tentative date is April 27th, which is long before the exam date, so that would give us some nice time to get prepared. But with them going online with the exam, it makes me a bit nervous of counting on that. So I'm kind of waiting to see what happens with the school closure um, and where that takes us. With that being said, I tend to always do something meaningful after the exam anyway. In the years that I've taught it, we always do something after the exam. One reason for that is we have Common Core state standards for English, and we find that there is a gap between what AP Lang and Comp wants and what the standards want, what the typical junior is getting and what they're learning. So we fill in that gap typically after the exam. So um, for that, we usually do something very literary based and a little bit more creative with the creative writing aspect, doing some narrative work, because we do so much with research and argument. We've hit those pieces from the standards, but we really do need to work on those other skills that you should have from any English class going forward so you're ready for whatever class you take senior year. So please know that I will plan something if we're back together. If we're not, I'll continue to do supplemental work. After the exam, it depends what date they give us for that from College Board. I'll determine, what do we want to do? If people buy into the idea of doing online discussions, we could do a book study and do online discussions that are optional. And again, it also depends on what the district has me do. Right now, everything has to be optional and ungraded. So right now, it's just really up to you guys to be motivated for that. I am more than willing to put the work in and the time if people are going to take advantage of it. If people aren't doing that, then I probably won't. I'll still put some supplemental resources out there, but I'm not going to go to the next level of doing things like group chats and meetings, discussions that I have to monitor and all that. So if you have ideas for things we could do after that, I might take your suggestions at a later date because I'd love to see what you guys can come up with for what we should be doing with our time together and what skills you want to work on. If you have any suggestions or questions or things you would like access to or things that are unclear from the materials I've provided, please email me. It might be a good thing for me to talk about with all of you and give you all access to that information. You might not be the only one with that question. So last thing I have for you today, today's video is pretty short because I have a lot to get through with looking at the new update from College Board and trying to finalize some of my grading today. Actually, two final things for you. One is there is a hospital in Renton that is asking for people to sew surgical masks for them. They need people who know how to sew and have sewing machines at home who can pick up materials, packets of materials on Monday and sew at least 100 of those surgical masks. If you're somebody looking for something to do or you have a family member who knows how to sew, I'd suggest you do that. I'm trying to get some myself. Lastly, word of the day, lassitude. Lassitude is a feeling of lack of interest or energy. The first few days, I had a lot of energy. I'm kind of at the point where that's waning a bit. I have a little bit of lassitude going on right now, but I'm trying to maintain focus, get that energy level back up. Hopefully, the weekend does that for me so that I can come back on Monday full power, ready to go, ready to rock, ready to sew some masks for the hospitals, do something with my time that's worthwhile. Miss all of you. Hope you are staying safe and healthy. Hope you're finding things to develop your brain, develop your intellect, and wish I could see you all in person. Maybe someday I'll figure out how to use Zoom and we can all meet together and have a quick chat. Until then, have a lovely. Bye, guys.